For this part of the live stream video is now being prepared to go on the set. Hello everyone, and what is going... Hang on one second folks, let me try this again. Hello everyone, and what is going on? Hyperion-Blue-GT here. Ford Addict 2 is ready to go for today's live summit event in the Crew 2. It's a follow-up to the very first Ford Addict from Season 7 that took place in early April 2021. Like its predecessor, characterized by having 6 events except 2 skills is now being excluded, is now being labeled as the exception, is now being updated into one as the exception. Other kinds of events are now being restricted to vehicles made by the American automotive manufacturer Ford. The 15th manufacturer restricted summon to be featured after Audi Addict from July 2023. Unlike all kinds of different manufacturer themed summon, including for the first one and the sequel on Porsche Addict from October 2019 and November 2022. With a brand new addition to the Ford GT known as Ruby Edition is now being seen on the cover for this week's event, along with one returning vehicle is now being available, is the Ford Focus RS Rallycross Glow Motorsport Edition from the USB Tour East Edition from Season 3, Episode 1 from Motorflix. Along with some all kinds of different vehicles are now being set and good to go to have 4 vehicles to have 4 events by vehicle restriction and 2 events to be on no restriction with a drag race and monster truck discipline. So better make sure you guys grab any kinds of 4 vehicles that go maximum and nitro chemist just to be needed, and then you'll be going further and take on to the sequel of Ford Addict. As always, if you're new to my YouTube channel, be sure click the subscribe button, then leave a like and comment at the section down below. Check out the links on the description if you want to see more. Don't forget to click the bell for notification on upcoming content videos in the later future. Let's get ready to go and start today's live summit event. Let's begin. Off-road in Dust to Dust from week number 3 is checked and complete, as other players are being focusing on the summit contest in Motorfest because all kinds of new challenges in Oahu is perfectly to have the best team culture in America before Japanese is now coming up to have the next month to have the schedule by the date. So here's the recap after putting up to have a WIP session by over 100. It takes hard work and go by planning by doing a big creative work is all I need for myself. Platinum in rank 1,742nd place in about over a million and 266,732 points. All kinds of Ford rewards, including with the Rallycross addition to the Lotus Exige S is now being added and acquired to be labeled on the goal. Good to have the blinking orange underglow on the common, so let's go entered on week number 4 of the challenge to have some more events, and coming soon, Best of Flashback is about to be putting up to have a different stage of levels by 6 events is now being related to Season 9 in the 2nd episode of Motorflix. So looks like Halloween is coming up to be on the date schedule on Treat Journey on the 25th of October and the 1st of November. Retro Pumpkin Rooftop on the Epic and the rerun on pole position along with a player's choice is now being coming up by the date schedule. So 4 days left, let's enter and have 3 skills and 6 events related to 4 vehicles will be set and go underway. For the exception on the first skill, let's take the skies and go for the low altitude. We'll be at Chicago in Illinois. Auto switch vehicle up by Gil, and this time putting up to have the Ford Mustang GT 2011 Drag Race Edition is now perfectly to have a best road to go for the speed trap. So let's do it and grab the Waco on the plane and fly very low. But we've done this once, you guys. Just gonna to keep a good, excellent speed on a low altitude to avoid any further contact and add up by having a multiplier. Okay, that's good. Gonna have to go underneath the bridge. Very nice. Multiply times 3 and stay low on the waters in the rivers. 5 seconds left. Gonna keep it up and go clear underneath the bridge one more time. So that's 12,623 points is check and done. 1 skill down, 2 to go, and 6 events will be on hold to be on standby by having 103,712 points. Perfect time to go for having a 1 best Ford vehicle for only Speed Trap and Solemn will be set and good to go. So next up, LA Ripper is now going for the Pro Racing on a Solemn to be auto switch vehicle as I'm about to grab myself to have a Ford Mustang Boss 429. Alright, let's just try to do something else to do this part of the scene, so I'll have to go on phase 2. But it might be quite very good to be helpful to have muscle cars in the LA River. How about the 2016 Ford Focus RS is now actually to go for having an all-wheel drive to have a differences to be style and Yamaha to be set and good to go on the per level by 280. Auto switch vehicle to be recommended to have a good skill by 75% on the score breaker, and that will have to take one best of the choices between a classic muscle car or a modern hatchback vehicle to be checked and see how it works perfectly. So let's enter the gate. Solemn on every gate to go slide around between left and right. Okay, gonna have to keep a good grip because the Ford Focus always has a good natural skill or talent. Okay, gonna have to stay on hold. Multiplier is still going increase by 2. This could get a bit more challenging. And time's up. Almost to be at 20,000 points to go over. So one session attempt is now currently to be having an outcome on skill 2. But here it is. 152,173 points is checked. So gonna have to try this again and do the perfect line on attempt 2. But by the way, because differences between the modern hatchback or a classic muscle car by giving it excellent differences on the choice. So it'll have to do a different skill of the perspective to see that the perfect line that you might need to stay on the straight position to go focusing. Okay, gonna have to keep boost up. It sure does having a pouring rain in LA. Come on. Okay, back up and go stable to have a good flow of line technique. Okay, one contact. There we go. And time's up. Score update, 21,304 points. Not bad. Not bad at all. But almost to have a one good clear step to be on the finish line, so it'll have to give 153,619 points to be on the update. Very good smooth skill, and Go Speed Trap will be take place to go to the magnificent mile for each part of the Ford Dragster vehicle by a single amount of pick. Okay, there you go. Now, just gonna go to the options. Save this for the next scene. Now this will putting up to have a per level on 400 that adds up by almost 5,000 horsepower because it'll have to be stated to be at 4,962 horsepower in the top speed 343 miles per hour when you're using with a 2011 drag race addition to the Ford Mustang GT. But good thing putting up the white stripe is very much more fine excellent and dark blue color as a prior preparation to go for the encore content video. So it will have to leave it to the Ford Mustang to have a very good fine 2011 model, but it could be quite very good and helpful to be on the FDR drive. So going back to Chicago. Hang on folks, I just messed up my line because I just need to get a better scene on the set. Okay, let's try this again. As you guys have already got the 2011 drag race addition to the Ford Mustang GT, it still have a very good excellent muscle car by the performance to go up by almost 5,000 horsepower to be stated to be at 4,962 horsepower in the top speed 343 miles per hour when you're at the per level at 400. But very good excellent choice of the basic muscle car unlike the Challenger and even of course the Camaro SS in the 2010 model. So let's give it a good run and put up to have a nice torque of the speed and handling to go for the expert to be go back to Chicago after the low altitude for the aerobatics. So let's go into the high gear to be on burn preparation. Okay, that's good. Check. And wait for the boost because it'll have to be saved later on in FDR Drive in New York City. Okay, that's ridiculous. That just blocked the scene. Okay, so let's try this again and go for take number 5. Alright, take 2 on the scene and continue on phase 2. Here you might need to have the 2011 drag race addition to the Ford Mustang GT is now being served as a highlighted recommend pick to be entered on the FDR Drive along with the Magnificent Mile in Chicago. So putting up onto the per level with the natural chemist is now going maximum on 400 that brings out by almost 5,000 horsepower is now being stated to be at 4,962 horsepower in the top speed 343 miles per hour. Very good excellent as a muscle car unlike the Camaro SS and the Dodge Challenger is now being served as a 3 muscle car rivalry. But it'll have to go faster and well capable to have a good speed trap to see how it goes. Let's turn the engine on and put the burned rubber to have a nice icy cold vanity on the smoke. Just to have a good clear traffic, and that will have to take a good starting position to go saber and kick it up into the green. So here it goes. And solid fine clear without any objects or traffic by the traffic. So that's 366.9 miles per hour, and here are the results. 117,439 points. Not bad. Very good to be average, and just to have the fine use to be entered on the FDR Drive on New York City for having a drag race event. But just to have the right time, and that will have to go over from Chicago to New York City from the Midwest to the East Coast. Talk about having an earlier time to go preparation on event number 1 as a qualifier after having one speed trap to go for having a one single audition. Unlike Alpha Grand Prix to be used on the Alpha Grand Prix cars, but it'll have to be quite differences to be well used on the speed trap to have a good excellent top speed amount. So gonna have to go and take on in New York City on FDR Drive. Using the Ford Mustang GT Drag Race Edition is my best recommended choice of the pick. So let's go and beat the objective by exactly in 13 seconds by the decimal of 0.4. Go burn rubber. Alright. Perfect burn check. And go shifting up the gears. Solid fine work, and wait to keep up and go straight to have a one good clear run. That's 11.017 seconds. Gear shift is good. So let's move on in run number 2 as I'm about to go on interior view style to have a good change of view of position. But on the inside to the interior view, unlike the street racing version, this was used to have a starter vehicle from the first installment in the crew as a 2011 model. But that would be quite very good to have one best of the American vehicle is quite very good, and having all kinds of different selections on each part of specs is now actually to be putting up to have 5 features and additional to have 3. But that second run clear. Runtime average is going to be a bit over by 11 seconds. One more run to go, and then the rest of the 5 events is now being currently to be saved for the last. So let's put up onto the perfect burn and give a good solid fine perfection. A bit more perfection, but doing safer and doing well good indeed. So that's 3 runs clear and new record in 10.923 seconds. Not bad, very good, and set by the record is now being received as a legendary funnel earned. But great work, because 106,333 points is now being checked when you're using with the 2011 Ford Mustang GT Drag Race Edition. So very good, and Dragster to go further. Next up, there's going to be having some different selections on each part of the discipline in each part of the class. There's going to be having Rallycross, Street Race, Touring Car, Monster Truck as a combo event, and one Ruby addition to the Ford GT as I'm about to be tried out to go entered on event number 2. So let's go and take on in American cars in the Midwest. Just to have a good fine scenic view to have a good loading screen as we're about to go experience to try out with a unique modified addition to the Ford GT as a 2005 model is now being listed as a Ruby. Unlike any other kinds of different addition to be exclusive to Ford vehicles, but this one is very much more fine, unique modification is quite very good to be colored in black in the base and trim on the red. But also to have a unique style interior view to have a good scene on the red color, and that will have a root scoop to be well seen to be on the top of the Ford GT. To be stated, the per level is now being default at 210 that contains with 550 horsepower and top speed, 205 miles per hour to have a good excellent mid-engine layout with an active wing spoiler is now being applied to by default. But not like the active wing spoiler, because a standard kind of a wing spoiler is now being seen on the rear along with a rear splinter on the guardrails. But I can't say because this modification is now very much more excellent to be fine indeed. So I'll have to be the first one to try it out and give it a good taste of a spin to have one race event. 3 seconds and go for the green, because this race is about to go battle out to have the Ford GT versus the Mustang. So up I go and take the lead. Much more incredible to have a standard default handling is very much more capable, unlike the original edition that features to have customization from the road car into a perf edition. Unlike the drift edition to the Ford GT is now actually to have some differences, is now being well compared to have some different sets of modification. But very much more fine impressive, because the red trim on the stripe is now being seen when you're using this car is very much more off the chart. But can't argue with that. But that might be quite giving a good, excellent taillight is now being seen to have a good usage. Way much more impressive, and good to be having a one taste of a ruby to be colored in red. Base color in black, but that will be quite very impressive to see this Ford GT is now being added to the game as part of episode 2 in season 9 on Flashback. So let's give it a good test and stay on the mid-engine oversteer. Okay, good cornering and stay on track. So very fine to be going in red. Lubbish is going to be naturally. But currently to be update on a gap in 10 seconds as the checkpoint to go proceed by every route on every route. Now it's 11 seconds, going up into 12. Keep that power slide to stay in one piece. Very much more excellent, but even part of the clip will have to keep a good monitor eye surveillance to be on the lookout if anything else happens because of the blurry part. During on live stream that is, but only on the encore content video will have to be shared by the difference to be compared to as a regular and encore. Okay, that's good. Checkpoint going proceed. And going back on the road after doing some several minutes on the street. But on the inside to this interior view, this may have a standard unique red color by default is now actually to have a very good, much more fine, luxurious to see this American supercar is actually to be served as a 2005 model. Very popular, unlike the 2006 model, as an update. So I had to keep it up and go boosted by the good average top speed by the difference. Almost there. Finish line is just right on sight. And there you go. That's 45,000 bucks earned. And one attempt of the skill is actually to go for having 100% event complete on number 2. 103,525 points is being highlight, check, and go for the brand new record. So what else that might have to go for the difference between a street racing and a touring car discipline on each part of the first generation Ford GT was made in 2005. But however, because unique modification is going to be having a one-way ticket to go over to be participate and race at the US Speed Tour cities at Chicago. But as always, because this part of the Deemed Summit is now going to be located to have the best time to go explore around in the Midwest, and especially to have the East Coast is now being part of it for only one drag race event. But in the meantime, because The title is now being shown when using anybody's livery is now being temporarily for this part of the video. Unlike the standard version, but this one in the wide body modification is now actually to become as an LM spec version to the Ford GT as a touring car edition. But looks good and very soon to be categorized as a GT1 category. By having a per level on the touring car edition to the 2005 Ford GT at 320 per level, that brings out 772 horsepower and top speed 247 miles per hour. Handling is going choice by having an intermediate to go on the easy or expert. But I'll have to be the judge of that and see how the handling will give it a good, much excellent on the go. Alright, let's do this. And this time, 4-car starting grid to have each part of the 4 GTs, including one Mustang, is now actually to be set and good to be on the run. So let's do this, and race time at the track, on the urban city track. So first place, here I come, and feel the proud differences with the red, white, and blue all around it. On the inside to this interior view, this one is fully modified to be outfitted to have a carbon fiber is now being on the trim, because this will be considered to have a race spec version to this detail view when entered on motorsport, since around in the season in the mid 2000s and earlier in 2010s. But after all, the first generation Ford GT is very good, and what's more to do way much more better than the best one is the second generation Ford GT as a 2018 race car. Practically and served to be participate in the 24 hours of Le Mans, and IMSA itself to be having a good popularity for the second gen Ford GT to this day. Unlike the first generation Ford GT is now being used as the original since the 1960s was used to be as the Ford GT40. But very good to have a modern day GT race car to have some good sets of modification, including where the roll cage is now being applied around onto the inside of the car. So gonna to go faster and full stretch. That's one lap down. Lap number 2 enters for only 2 more to go. So coming up onto turn 1 right now. Right corner clear. Distant by update in about over 10 seconds. Stay on track and go master each corner that you've done this so far. Very fantastic. Okay, now put a hairpin to be at a sharp turn. Go on the left. But it may be features to have a 7-speed transmission, but it also to be used as a 6-speed transmission to the Ford GT as a first generation model. But the top speed is doing correctly and much more brilliant, unlike the second generation is becoming more successful. Okay, going proceed, there's one contact occur. Short chicane, take it, and double 90-degree angle turns to go on the left and right. Okay, here comes the last turn. Gonna kick it up and go maximize. So yeah, the touring car addition to the Ford GT as a 2005 model that actually includes with a 7-speed transmission, but it might be preferred to have a 6-speed transmission as a Spec 2 race car version, since Gran Turismo 4 and onwards to Gran Turismo 7 along with a test car version. But the study analysis, because the 7-speed transmission is also to be used on the second generation Ford GT race car as a 2018 model. So gonna have to keep going and proceed forward to have a one-way ticket to go for the new record and maximum on to 100,000 point by the chance. Almost there to be at 90% progression, folks. Gonna take it and keep it going all the way and master to be achieved to have that touring car version to the Ford GT. But as always, having a differences rule on Top Gear. That's a fantastic turn to be clear on the short chicane. Go boost it. Let's turn on the right. "24 seconds on the updated gap, and I am on the high road towards the podium." And there you go. By under 5 minutes, record is achievable to have a good, excellent outcome when you're using this touring car addition to the Ford GT 2005. 108,691 points, and perfectly to have event 3 is now being checked. Well done, for only 3 more to go. But after all, because vehicle restriction is now being served to be on the exclusive. So speaking of which, I bet you guys might have already got the Globe Motorsport edition to the Ford Focus RS Rallycross is now actually to go for having another part of the time attack on the US Speed Tour edition on the Jackson Special. So let's go west and have a good place to be here on the Mountain States. Just to have one previous MotorPass exclusive is now being available for free from the previous update until it's now being available by using bucks or crew credits by the price. Unlike the Ford Mustang Shelby GT500 Interceptor unit as a premium, but this one that comes in to have a one fresh start and being put up to have my UDRS livery to go back with the way it was. But just to have a good reminder onto the per level at 230, 630 horsepower and top speed, 174 miles per hour, because the handling is going to be much more expert because of the big wang is now being seen on the rear. But race carefully to go faster, but challenging is far more important that you might need to master this Globe Motorsport edition to go achievable by having an outcome of the impossible dream. So here I go, let's do this and beat the time by over 2 minutes. Just to go drifting and one contact. Okay, that's gonna be a poor ridiculous. Hang on, folks. Just give me a moment. I'll have to be on the surveillance lookout on the check. Alright, gonna get back on track and see where I last left up. Unlike the standard addition to the Ford Focus RS Rallycross 2016, but the big wang is now putting up to be attachable to be seen on the rear onto the thumbnail image. So right now, I'm about to have my UDRS livery to go back where the way it was, and Benetty to have a good maximum per level at 230 with the Nitro Chemist. But you know the performance spec is now being maximum and go expert. So let's go and have a good time attack to have a good faster time or challenging to go for having a big wang matters. 3 seconds and here I come to go green. Okay, drifting is good, but the important thing is you might have to keep a good extra careful because of any tight turns is going to be a bit more slower because faster is good, but the handling is going to be a very tough risk that you might need to keep it careful if the traction is turning off. So going to go boost it up, brake and drift, Okay, looks like that could be a bit more challenging to go down. Yep. This special on this part of the theme summon is going to be a very more important challenge in order to do that for having one part of the clean skill. Just like the regular, but this time attack for only one card by the vehicle restriction is very more extremely by the difficult. But it can go extreme, so you might have to keep a good excellent slide handling to go for some technique on the tarmac and gravel all together to have a good mixture of rallycross racing. But when it takes too much, don't get yourself too overwhelmed. Otherwise, you'll be ends up and go back to square one when you start out from the very beginning. But I tell you, the big wing is a bit more problem when it comes to have some respawn on the handling. But we can still take it, unlike the original that have a better wing spoiler to be quite very good in lighter. But this one is becoming more heavier to be expected to be. It could go loosened up by each part of further mistakes that you might need to keep a good stable position when you're using in a single all-wheel drive rallycross vehicle. So the second lap is going clear. Down the way I go and past the record to have a good over 2 minutes on the main objective. And there's 2 minutes, 5.3 seconds is check and complete. Talk about going a bit more challenging due to the big wing spoiler is very hard to handle when you're drifting and going faster on straight. So in the meantime, follow-up catch-up to be adding up onto the first list. So next up, Ford Mustang Shelby GT500. So next up, Ford Mustang Shelby GT500 Interceptor. Sorry folks. So next up, Ford Mustang Shelby GT500 Interceptor unit in along the Mississippi. Just to have one intercept police vehicle is very good to be having an excellent recommend pick as a vehicle restriction. Unlike the Glow Motorsport Edition, Ruby Edition, and Touring Car Edition to the Ford GT. But the Mustang still have an excellent muscle car to this day when it comes to have a different set of customization, and unique modification is an all-time best popular pick in 2020. So you know the spec and per level to be at 280 that brings out to go maximum in over 1100 horsepower and top speed 227 miles per hour to go on an expert handling. But you'll have to go faster, sirens will be turned on, and this was used to be as the first season as a premium Motor Pass exclusive vehicle. Gonna get ready and start the scene and turn the sirens will be turned on. It's on the job and going faster to be in the lead. Just like last time, back from Season 9 in the first episode from the very first live summit event to be used on the Bugatti Chiron Super Sport 300 Plus for the Standard and Divine Edition. Good thing to have a best all time to do a WIP work session to have this interception unit to the Ford Mustang GT500. Unlike the original and other kinds of variation, including with the Road Force 1 and the Tribute Edition from Motorfest. But all I can say this because one edition as exclusive in Motorfest is currently to be available, and other edition is still yet to be used as well when you're playing in the Crew Motorfest. Gonna have to keep up with a good high speed on the roll, destination, and go for the nick of time. Quickest way to get there, so it'll have to go faster to get much more excellent speed, handling, and acceleration to go mastered on each part of the up north in the route. Okay, coming in. Just gonna have to go crossing the bridge in the Mississippi River. 14 seconds on the gap. 7-speed transmission, doing well. Imported line on the trail of the smoke. Halfway there. Gonna have to keep pushing up and keep going achieved by the records, so it'll have to stay on the asphalt when it comes to be on the arrival of the scene. Go fast, go further, and one way step forward. So very good to be having some average handling to have a wing spoiler to have an interception addition. Previously used on the first season in the chase is actually to have a best free roam vehicle as a street racing vehicle. But talk about modern muscle cars like the 6th generation Camaro and the updated version to the Dodge Challenger SRT8 with a version for the Hellcat and Demon itself. But the Mustang Shelby always has a good heritage to have the history in the making since the first generation Mustang comes out in the 1960s. But until in the 2020, new Mustang is putting up to have a new form of the shape of the chassis and different style is putting up to have some different changes, unlike the new one was introduced in 2014. But the 2020 Ford Mustang Shelby GT500 is very much more best of the popular muscle car in the modern age of the 21st century. Unlike the 2013 version, but this one is a born of the beast to have a nice racing horse logo and the Cobra on the rear. So there you go, one race complete, 3 minutes, 27.844 seconds, that adds up onto 1111,020 points. That's very good, fantastic, and go further on Ford Addict 2 for only 1 interception unit. So that makes 5 events check, 1 more to go, and let's get ready to go for a monster truck at the ring. This will be a very tough challenge to see how the monster truck will be taken on to have one part of the Demolition Derby event. For the final event in Ford Addict 2, you guys might need to choose between the Ford Mustang GT or the Ford F-150 Raptor in the Monster Truck Edition is now being set and go highlighted as a build go recommendation for this part of the Team Summon. But the same per level and different performance is now being stationed at 140. For the F-150 Raptor is now putting up to have 2,103 horsepower and top speed 149 miles per hour to go maximum and have the only weight advantage that you might need to challenging to have some Demolition Derby cars to go short straight and outside cornering will be doing much more safer at this time. But Trailblazer is going to be a bit more problem that you guys might need to be extra careful in order to do this part of the objective to go up by over 100,000 points. So let's do this, folks. Monster Truck versus Demolition Derby is about to be set and get the show on the road on the arena. Up I go and take the lead. But don't forget, obstacles are about to be extremely exercise caution that you guys might need to keep it careful. But quick nitrous is all you need to go faster and a bit more safer. Pretty much more safe, and here it comes. Yeah, that's how it happens when you're not going in a clear straight, because other Demolition Derby vehicles is going to be quite coming around and being scattered with all parts. So that's the first lap down. Coming up, and keep pushing by slamming with some other opponents in the Demolition Derby. It could go push up like a bulldozer to come around. Okay, gonna have to keep going straight. No need to have repairs. Piece of cake and simple. So I'll have to take that yoink on the repairs. Good as new. and go on the outside at the very far left. But if possible, you'll have to take circumstances that you might need to do the outside cornering to do safer, because inside cornering to avoid any other obstacles like any other mistakes to be happen for each part of the lap by number 10. But almost there to be stationed at lap number 7, gonna have to go push up and slam some other opponents to be coming around for this quick event. That's lap number 8. Now go outside. Final lap is up I go. Oof, okay, looks like that could be a one punch slam in. Finish line is cleared to be well done. Alright. So it could take over 2 minutes and 30 seconds when using a monster truck is going to be a bit more challenging. Well, okay folks, as I don't have the monster truck addition to the Ford Mustang GT, as I'm about to be preferred to stay with the Ford F-150 Raptor in the same monster truck edition. But the difference is because right side of the track and outside corner on the right is going to be a bit more safer in order to do that, just to have one good excellent maintained by the pace and go a bit more quicker, safer, and much more exercise caution when it comes in to have some obstacles to be coming around. But don't forget, all you might need to go faster and quicker at this time before I'm about to go back again on attempt number 2 to be reset to go back on square one. But you'll have to do a bit more quicker after putting up with some thinkful idea on every part of the attempts. So let's see how it works, because outside cornering, short straightaway on the right side to go safer, and a bit more extreme exercise caution to avoid losing amount of speed. Gonna keep it up. Watch out for any sides on the length. There we go. Gonna go by corner. Let's see how the progress is doing well, as I'm about to go enter lap number 2. Third lap, here I come. Okay, no contact close in. That's safe. Alright, now's my chance. Gonna slam on other demolition cars are in the way. It's like smashing up the roadblock and go on through. Okay, that's lap number 6. Keep going. This could be a crazy challenge on Ford Addict 2, viewers. Come on, just gonna have to slow down and get back on the top speed. Lap number 7, and go enter lap number 8. Pacing up and pull with some punches. That's the element of the combo for only Demolition Derby, is being overrun by only one monster truck vehicle. And that's how one last stretch and finish line is going to be clear. Alright, very good, and challenge complete. Who says monster trucks can overcome many obstacles to do this, and perfectly to have this perfect part of the scene is going clear to have an updated record. So, event number 6 on Ford Addict 2 is cleared to be success. right on time and update by the rank in 3,754 place in the right on time and update to be on the rank in 3,754 place in the platinum in about 4 days left. One follow-up catch-up on the Globe Motorsport addition to the Ford Focus RS Rallycross is now being required. Boy, looks like that was a go further forward moment out there to have 6 events, 2 skills is now being served additional, and 1 for the exception. Unlike the original from Season 7, but the sequel is very much more good and excellent, unlike Ford Addict 1 and 2 as the differences. So what do you guys think about having 4 events on 6 events includes with 2 skills on Speed Trap and Solemn? Ford Mustang GT, Ford Mustang GTs, Ford GTs, Focus, and other kinds of Ford vehicles is now actually to have the best part and go for any kinds of discipline on drag race, street race, rallycross, touring car, and monster truck as a combo event. But I can't wait to see how it turns out to have more progress to go up and still yet to be available to be having a best time to go for Ford Addict 2. As week number 4 is now being checked and well done, week number 5 will go for having a rerun for the next live summon is the player's choice. All kinds of different events on skills is now being put up to have a random choice by pick. So let's have a good check and go by the preview. So, I guess 3 required vehicles is now being using for the Porsche Panamera Turbo S Sport Turismo, Mazda MX-5 Miata, first generation Spearhawk Edition, and the Lancia Delta S4 Hoodlum Racing Crew Edition. 2 returning vehicles from the USB Tour West Edition and 1 Porsche vehicle is now being available for only 1 random choice of the event. But don't forget, aerobatics, solemn, and buoy smashing will go by the random as we're about to find out soon enough as wrap this up before at the end of the video. There's going to be having some more reruns on live summon for this part of the season, folks. The player's choice, pole position, and Halloween treat journey is coming for us because it'll have to go scarier to be spooky, and then the regular will have to leave it to the rest. But don't forget, because Best of Flashback is now being scheduled by coming soon, and we have already got the premium content on the Motor Pass system to go up into 50 of the tier to get these kinds of exclusive outfits. But the last one is now yet to be well done and go for the retirement until the next update is going to be on Season 10 from Motorflix. But I don't know what it is, so you guys might have to be patient and have a good check to be on the main lookout because I just really don't want this to have a spoiler alert moment before the next update will be scheduled by coming soon after the end of episode 2 in Motorflix Season 9 of Flashback. Thank you for enjoying watching the video in the Crew 2, folks. I hope you enjoyed. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel for a like, comment, and click the bell for notification on upcoming content videos if you'd like to see. Don't forget to check it out on any social media platforms. Don't forget to check it out on any social media platforms like DeviantArt, Instagram, Twitter, GT Planet, Discord, Patreon, and more to see for my own image artwork like UTRS liveries, Vision Total Drama fan art with car liveries, and more whenever you're welcome at any time. I'll be seeing you guys next time for continue on in the live summit event in the Crew 2, and I look forward to see you again in the next video. Keep on racing, stay clean.